to our board? You didn't get recorded, but, any additions and to or deletions from the posted agenda?
Yes.
Eric. Eric's getting his steps.
Yeah, so we have a kind of a messed up agenda tonight. Old business town hall building committee update is off the agenda. They wanted more time before they present, and they've asked to come to a meeting in October, so they'll be there. And then on the new business, the Woodstock Farmers Market, that's taken off as well. When we reached out to the participants this morning, they had found another avenue to pursue. With that said, I want to thank the governor's office for working with us on trying to find a solution so quickly, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And then we're going to add, if you can show up, Police Chief Joe Swanson is going to give an update, and then a discussion of creating subcommittees on the select board as well in a new business.
Okay. Any citizens' comments? Michael?
Yeah.
You have to come up here, please. You do, because of the Zoom and the recording, and state your name and.
Okay. Hello, all.
Oh,
It's been a long
hello.
time. Greg, congratulations on
Thank you.
first meeting. Get your feet wet.
Yeah.
I'm Michael Brands, a former town planner for 30 years. I have an issue with whatever an issue goes back with the zoning department. I wish to appeal and a lack of action. I would prefer to call it a point of clarification. I agree. Well, the situation has been developing for the past year, started last fall, with a new neighbor that's excavated and shedding water and debris onto my property continually throughout the entire summer. Thank God we have a little break in the weather now. And I've been on the zoning administrator's case to resolve this, and I finally got a letter after a month. Then after 5 months, I received a notice of violation. And now that notice of violation is refused. The ZA refuses to enforce the letter, the notice of violation. And there's a trigger argument in that. And I've talked it over my attorney, and he agrees with me on the triggering mechanism. They feel another rain event is required to overflow onto my property before any action is taken place. What needs to be taking place is erosion control before the water occurs. And it's up to me to report this situation. And that's another difficulty. But my point is I want to appeal it possibly, but I would prefer a point of clarification. I had hoped to meet with the zoning board last week, but the zoning board did not meet last week. They had the month off. I guess there was a lack of a business on the agenda. Therefore, I wasn't able to pose these questions to them, and I was informed today that the town refused to reimburse me for the $450, which is substantial, for the appeal, if I am proved correct. And after speaking with my attorney, I am sure I am correct on the nature of the issue. And I would like to be able to have the recompense for that $450 if I'm proven correct. That I shouldn't even have to appeal the situation if the action was done correctly. And that action is not being done correctly. Therefore, I am forced to appeal it. And I only have 2 weeks, therefore I can't confer with the zoning board until the end of September. And I need to file an appeal by the mid-September to be able to go forward with this. But I would like to be able to be recompensed for that $450 if I'm proven correctly. It's a common situation, of course, as Susan probably knows, where one can ask that, the fees be recompensed, even legal fees be, paid for by the other party. But, I feel with the town, they could offer that situation where if I'm proven correct in this, that I could be recompensed for the $450. That's a lot of money for a fixed income individual trying to live in Woodstock. So, still here. Who knows how long, but I'm still here. So, and I've received lots of comments in the street saying how I'm doing and how they wish things were going, and we'll leave it at that. I'll probably be seeing you people in the future on other matters, but at the moment, I wish to address the situation of being recompensed for that $450 if I'm proven correctly. If I lose, obviously, it's money out the window. But I just feel that I shouldn't even have to file an appeal because it's so obvious the solution to this situation.
I think unfortunately, we don't know a lot.
I
about the
understand,
situation.
I
This is the first
understand,
any of us
understood,
are hearing
understood.
about, and I
Good.
think it might be that we could, once it's known, I mean, right now, it's not known whether,
Well, I'm not trying to get too deep into this
Okay.
because this is just citizens' comments and I'm not trying to
Perfect.
take over the board. I've spoken to the town manager off and on.
Right.
I've come in every single week this summer. I don't want to be here at all. I want to be in under Mount Peg and left alone. I don't want to deal with this at all. This bothers me tremendously to be here and to voice. I didn't want to say anything. I want to let that person have their ride, but they're doing things incorrectly. And unfortunately, it's come to me personally that a situation exists where a person bought a house sight unseen, paid 3 times for it, and they have water problems because they're at the bottom of Mount Peg and it rains. And these people are only here part of the time. And last fall, they went and excavated and they left a situation where it was totally flat and they focused the water to drain through my property. And that was the first instance. But the zoning administrator didn't do anything because he didn't realize the situation in the fall. So he hasn't done anything until this August when they went and built a retainment dry well, if you will, to hold the water, which failed miserably, and it overflowed for 3 weeks. And I have photographic evidence, which is part of the notice of violation, which is why I'm here at this point, because the notice of violation, it was finally sent, and it should have been acted. A letter should have gone out that they were in violation, because he wouldn't evidenced everything. And there's 5 items that in his photographic evidence that the zoning administrator agreed that he's in violation, but no, not until another rain event. And that's the situation I'm trying to get at. But right here, I'm just asking for is a recompensation. If I'm proven correct, I should get my $450 back, because it doesn't matter what the issue is per se. It's
And
more the fact that since I'm correct, I shouldn't even have to appeal this.
is it an appeal to the environmental court or?
No, to the
The
town zoning board.
Okay.
The environmental court would be,
So
I would have to get a decision from the zoning board first before I can go to the environmental court.
I think it
Can't jump.
sounds to me like what might make sense as a process is to let that process go through before we make any decision about that.
I know, but I'm trying before I submit, because if I don't get the $450 back,
Oh.
I'm out. That's what I'm trying to do, is get that before, the middle of the month, 15th.
I just don't know that we have the information.
Talk to the neighbor yourself.
The neighbor refuses to speak to me. I've sent photographic evidence when they were in Florida in March that this was going on, and I assume they're going to talk to me as soon as they came here. They did not. And it's just gone downhill from that point. It's a miserable situation, believe me. I am
So what
not
I,
at all happy with
And
this.
I don't think we can make decisions under citizens' comment.
No,
right?
yeah.
It hasn't been.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
can't make a decision today on that.
and what I can do is have the plan zone administrator reach out to the board and let them know about the whole history of the event, and then the board can take it from there.
Because that's an additional thing is when I talked to Steve, he said, the zoning administrator, he said that it would be up to the board possibly if they wish to decide, but I did not have that opportunity last week. That's why I'm here tonight to see if I can get a little push on something or some.
I think that's what
It'd
Eric.
be nice to have that before, within 2 weeks.
Going to.
Yeah.
He's going to do that and we'll reach back out to Michael.
Yes.
Okay.
Reaching back to me has not been very well done this summer, if I could say, but, I trust you to reach back to me and, we'll try to get that over and done with. And I hate to,
Nope.
take up your meeting. I know you have more important things to do here.
That sounds very frustrating. But Yeah.
Again, congratulations, Greg, and, good luck.
Thank you. I think Michael Dalton is online, has a citizen comment as well.
Yes, thank you. Michael Doughton, 3488 Cloudland Road,
Listen
And-
to me.
This
No,
is-
there's no-
Pomfret. And my comment was actually more of a question. The town of Pomfret has voted on the closure of Cloudland Road for the 3 weeks of the foliage season, 3 to 4 weeks, about 3.5 weeks. And my understanding was that the Woodstock Select Board was going to be taking this up soon, and I'm wondering when that is, because soon is well, the time is approaching very quickly.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the board voted last meeting to close. Yeah, so last meeting 2 weeks ago, the board voted to close Cloudland Lane on the Woodstock side along the same dates as Pomfret Select Board decided to do.
Yes, and my understanding was that there was going to be more discussion about the financial end of it, any financial support that Woodstock would lend, in kind support in terms of signage, et cetera, because we will probably not have enough signage and would need to involve Woodstock in that, especially since it's on the Woodstock end, that we'd need that discussion.
Yep, and the decision was to have this conversation the next select board meeting in September.
Oh, in September. Okay, I hadn't heard a date. That's why I was asking about it specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be the September,
19.
19th, I believe, yeah, third Tuesday in September.
okay. You do realize that's very tight
Yes.
time-wise. Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Managers report.
So first I want to welcome Greg to the select board. Everyone else has, but I'll do it officially as well. So thank you for going through the process. Thank you for joining us. And I just want to thank all the applicants who also applied. And as I said, last Tuesday and then Friday, I hope those people who had the passion to apply, go through the process, continue to have that passion and show up. And if they decide to run in future elections, to run as well. I think we all agree the more people that get involved, the better we are. So the more voices we hear, the better decisions we can make. So I encourage everyone to stay involved and continue to show up and help us out. Next, I had FEMA came on this past Friday, which starts the 60-day kickoff for Woodstock to apply for FEMA reimbursement. So Mark Hunter and myself met with a large group of FEMA representatives. Mark took them on a tour of some of the damage that was currently ongoing that hasn't been fixed yet. And I'm working on the reimbursement form as we speak. Basically, we have 60 days to submit that form into the portal, and once it's in the portal, that then goes to the process that way. They're very helpful, very communicative, and they're going to allow us to send everything to them ahead of time and have a conversation with them. So what we sent should be ideal, and hopefully we'll get all the money back that we spent. Next, we are starting interviews for the finance director position. We have a few lined up this week. So we'll see how that goes. As always, I'm not going to comment on any of the applicants ahead of time to keep the town the best negotiation position at the end of the day. And finally, the board got an email from me earlier today about some personnel changes. I want to highlight one of them. Nikki Nurse, who is online, has been promoted to admin assistant / HR administrator coordinator. Nikki's been with Woodstock for a few years. She started in dispatch, I believe, and came over as the admin assistant. And then I started, has helped with a lot of HR related materials, including putting job descriptions together for all employees, helping with the job evaluations, onboarding employees, and starting to create procedures. So we have things in place when people come on board. I think it's a role that's been lacking in the past just due to the staff size. And so I'm excited to see what Nikki can do and just want to congratulate her personally and embarrass her as well by talking about her in the meeting. So thank you, Nikki. That's all I have for my general report. I believe I did a financial report last week, 2 weeks ago, so I don't have a new one, but happy to answer any questions if the board has any questions. No. Okay. We want to move on to new
Business?
business, and if
No.
yeah, Chief Swanson.
Sorry.
Hey, everyone, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to be on this side of the table.
And if I could just start off before we hop in, as we know, we went through an extensive police chief search. I met with all the candidates individually near the end. And when Chief Swanson and I met, one of his ideas was to be more transparent with the town. I think in the past, the police chief has been to every single village meeting, does a village update, and does not really attend any town select board meetings. So one of his ideas was to be more transparent and come to these meetings, give some highlights of what happened, but also be willing to take comments from the select board as well. So this is Chief Swanson's first time, so the floor is yours.
We were kind of thinking maybe like quarterly, if that was agreeable to the board, come in and either address any concerns or highlight any progress that's been made. I've been chief for about a month, so still trying to get, still kind of getting the rhythm down. But everything's been going well. We currently have 4 full-time officers, including myself. One of them is Corporal Kirsten Murphy, and she is on light duty because she's pregnant. So she is helping out in the office, doing phone complaints, walk-in complaints, and some other investigative work to be done, kind of behind the scenes, and actually taking quite a bit of work off my shoulders. And it's been very helpful. And then we have Officer Owen Tarleton and Officer Liz Turco, who are new to the department since the spring. Owen onboarded in about, I think, May, and then Liz onboarded in June. And they're both hardworking and eager to learn and fast learning. So that's been helpful. And then we have about 6 part-time officers that are really stepping up, and then 2 deep reserve officers that come around every now and then, that live out of the area. I've been trying to increase our community presence in the town as well as in the village. South Woodstock obviously has been an ongoing issue that we're working on as far as speed complaints in general. We had the issue with the sign cart being in kind of a bad spot. So one thing is I couldn't change the speed. After I get email, I tried to change the speed, like what it read, but I didn't have the right screw because it was a security screw. I have since purchased that adapter, and I hope to put it out maybe by the store where it says 30 with it saying 30. We have a kind of a new issue up on Cox District with an individual and friend that are riding their motorcycle and ATV on the road, very high rate of speed. We've spoken with the individual. We haven't caught him in the act yet, but we're working on either building a case from witness statements or catching him. So we've increased our patrol in that area significantly, and been responding to complaints up there. So, but we have talked to neighbors and residents up on the hill. People have been out walking just so they'd see we're there. But do you have any other questions for me, or?
No, it sounds like you've been busy.
So are you
Yes.
full staff now?
No, we should have 6 full-time. We have an open sergeant position and then 1 open full-time patrol position.
Cause I actually had an alarm call and the alarm people told me that you guys would not respond.
We'll,
Didn't need you,
we
but
probably should have, so I will address that with our,
need you, and 9 times out of 10, I'll call you guys to tell you,
Yeah.
but I was kind of surprised to hear that.
no, I will check on that, but
But I was
we
told
should
it
be.
because it was
Yeah.
outside of the village.
Oh,
Didn't have enough people on that.
yeah, the village, outside the village, but we've usually tried to respond
Yeah.
to town calls, so I'll look into that, but no, we are not full staff.
Most of the time I try to call you to tell you not.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committees. You have a.
Yes.
list in mind.
I have a few small ones, but I think maybe we can just give the public kind of a greater overview of what's going on. I think when I was hired or going through the process and so they came here, there's been a lot of discussion of how to communicate better, how to involve the communities better, and how to make sure the boards are really taking on all the issues as much as possible. So one of the things we came up with was having subcommittees for the boards, and we're looking at potentially doing two different things, maybe simultaneously. One is subcommittees within the select board itself, so two members will be on a certain project. We're also talking about creating subcommittees with the trustees, so one member of the select board, one member of the trustees, to also look at issues as well that kind of affect both the town and village. That way they're kind of working together, there's communication flowing back and forth, and the concerns of the town and village would be representative, in those committees. So that's kind of the overview, and I think the committees can work two ways, or the subcommittees. One is just to have two board members on the committee, and then they can go and do the research they want. The other is for the subcommittees to create working committees, and then they can invite residents onto those committees and then work that way. The difference with the working committees is the way it's phrased is they're kind of out doing research, so that they won't be a proper committee, therefore they won't have to follow open meeting law, with understanding that the subcommittee would then report back to the select board at a time in a warned meeting. So that's kind of the overall process we can discuss. I don't think any decisions need to be made tonight, or they can be, that's up to you. But some of the topics I had, one was the South Woodstock wastewater facility treatment. I'm not sure why that's top of my head, but that's one of them. Another one is just kind of communication in general. How best can we communicate as a board to the public? I think, again, the wastewater treatment facility is a great example of, we had all these public meetings that people could attend, but did we really do a good job of engaging people to come to those meetings, making sure they were aware of them? How best can we communicate, our agenda or what's actually happening in these board meetings, and more depth besides just, here's an agenda, here's a meeting, here are the minutes. How can we really explain what the board wants to do or what's happening in the town? Another one is foliage. I think the village has their own concerns with foliage. I think residents and the town and village also have concerns or worries. We see that with Cloud Lane, that's one street, but how does that impact maybe tourism downtown? There have to be signs in the village. So it's all these kind of things we want to focus on. So those are my big top three. But I thought tonight might be a good time for the board itself to kind of think of other options you want to discuss. And then there's only 5 of you. All of you are very busy people, so I don't think we need to have 20 different subcommittees, but maybe pick a few of the most important and kind of go from there.
I think it's great, and I definitely think we should, I would like tonight to establish one for the Southwood
Yeah.
wastewater treatment. I think, 2 board members, and then what do you propose, 4 community members for a working committee?
Yeah, I think as long as you're not, I think we'll be fine.
I think one of the other committees that we need to get, not tonight, but we need to get going pretty soon. One, I think it would be helpful to have 2 select board members discussing the main wastewater treatment
Yep.
plan, and to see if we can come up with some kind of proposal financially to present at an open meeting, and also get ideas from people. But I think it would be helpful to start getting that discussion
Yep.
going sooner rather than later.
Mary, Ray, Greg, if you have any other committees you want to create or talk about.
Wastewater,
Yeah. That's a good one, yeah.
South Woodstock one has to be, I don't think. By the turnout tonight, it's being addressed soon.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
can't think of any others.
The aqueduct.
Yeah.
Yeah, understood. We have Mark here. I don't know if he has anything that he wants us to be focusing on.
I was a little nervous, meeting with the FEMA crew, I'd say. I had 3 roads that I hadn't finished 100%. 2 of them in South Woodstock, Bryant and Loop Road. And Larry Curtis. I brought 2 of the FEMA employees to all 3. They signed off. They gave me the okay to finish those. The only reason why I hadn't finished them, they were all passable. Larry Curtis only has that farmhouse at the end. There's no residents on there, so I finished that road, I think the second week after the flood. It just wasn't a necessity to finish it 100%. So I'm pretty confident I have all my ducks in a row to finish all the paperwork with Eric. I have to get GPS coordinates at the stop and start of all of it. I started doing that today in between some other tasks that I was doing. So I did a really good. I broke down all the flood damaged by each road. I have all the tickets and everything, so I think we should be good to go with the reimbursement with that. So,
Is there any other aspect of your world that you think needs a committee?
I hired a new gentleman. Today was his second day. He's working with First Bar. I think that the 2 of them are a great fit working together. They have a similar personality, so I'm happy with that. I'm a little nervous that winter's coming really soon. It just seems like we can't get ahead with the rain, but you know what it is, So.
I
other
think
than that,
Mark and his crew has done a great job, obviously during the flood, but Mark has spent a lot of time with organizing all the different work, the way FEMA needs it required, so I want to thank him for that. I think talking about committees and communication might be something we can add to how to communicate with DPW. You know, right now, it's usually a phone call or an email to Mark or myself, we forward on. But a way to kind of prioritize different requests or how best to get the message out, you know. If 5 requests come in a day, how best can we then send them to Mark and his crew, but also then communicate back to the residents when it's going to get done in a timely manner. So that could be something on, if we form a communications committee, they could look into that as well.
at times I pick and choose some of the work in the area. So I don't want to fix one thing and then move over to the other side of town. So I try to group everything together. You know, I'm sometimes I'm a little reluctant to answer back on a voicemail or to a resident, but I'll get back to them at some point. So I mean, I always follow up with drive-bys or, you know, check up on it, but.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything you and the
Thank you.
crew have done.
Yes.
It's been a really difficult time.
Yes, yeah.
The loop road,
Yes, yeah.
that concrete now, is it all done?
So, Loop Road, there was some debris on a culvert. We had got a flash rainstorm and it plugged the culvert. So the water it needed somewhere to go. So it washed out the highest point of Loop Road and it went down and washed out the whole thing.
Oh,
What I did was I hired 2 trucks to bring in material and stockpiled it in the corner of the parking lot at the fire station in South Woodstock. And then 2 of our 6-wheelers trucked it in and we installed it. And then I did the same thing with the gravel. When I said I wasn't finished 100%, I didn't top dress it with the hard pack. So it has been finished. It's all passable. It's just not to our standards, you know, it's not 100% smooth. So I plan on getting that done, the beginning of next week. So, and I didn't know that on the end of the road, there's a stone culvert. It appears to be a little compromised, so I got a grant and I just got the okay to get that replaced, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think the board probably at least wants to form the South Woodstock Committee.
Yeah.
So we'll have that conversation. Who wants to be on the committee?
I'll be on it.
And I'll be on, I think we're the two that drive by it the most, so we might as well.
Jumping right in, huh, Greg?
Have no choice.
And so what I would think is it would be a working committee, which would mean other select board members don't come to the meeting.
Yes,
Otherwise, then we go for them.
yes.
And we would ask you to post on listserv the.
Yeah.
And
And people can apply.
Yeah, well, the way the board wants you to apply and how you want to apply.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, I don't know if it has to come before the whole board to pick people or if it's just the working committee picks people.
The working committee can,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it would just be good transparency. Once it's picked the working committee, then lets the whole board know the numbers that are on it.
Do we need a motion? It's a
No.
working, no,
So we picked just 4
from the applicants.
from the app.
And then it sounds like the other committees were communication, foliage, wastewater, and aqueduct.
Yeah.
And how do you want to proceed?
I think,
Talking to you about.
yeah, I think in the term of time tonight, we can push those off to another one as well. But with foliage, it's probably too late to really start having a committee on it. But that'd be something we'd have after the fact. And then everything else we can kind of discuss at the next meeting and so on and so forth. But I think having one committee and kind of go through the process, we can see how it goes and make changes from that point on.
Because I think I like the idea of the working committees, bringing in community
Yeah.
members, because I think it, you know, engenders a lot of
Lots of
buy-in and
communication.
participation, and I just think it, you know, spreads the burden a bit. It
Yeah,
makes
absolutely.
people feel like they're invested.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
Onto the sewer abatement request of
Yeah.
169 Eaton Place. And I don't want to butcher anyone's name, so I'm just going to refer to it as a property address.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone's had a chance to review the letter.
And the person who submitted the letter is on Zoom. I don't know if I
Okay.
want to hear from them or not.
Oh, there he is. Sure.
Hey, guys, sorry, I know you have a lot going on, much more pressing matters, but thank you for everything you've been doing, and thanks for reviewing this. Appreciate it.
Is there anything you want to add to what's stated in your letter?
I think it's hopefully pretty self-explanatory. I talked to Corey on email and via phone just to kind of get through the whole, kind of understand what happened. It sounds like there were some technical difficulties with some system switchover, but I think you guys can see what's highlighted. The first, and maybe we missed something along the way, but the first notice that we received was at the property, actually addressed to Sheila and Bill Birmingham, who are kind of the former owners. And Corey let me know too that there'd been something sent to our other address in New Hampshire, but it was the wrong address. So unfortunately, it didn't get forwarded over. But and it's kind of all outlined there. But I'll leave it to you guys. But thanks again for taking the time, because I know there's a lot going on.
So the request is for interest of $75.21 and penalty of $91.84 to be abated. The payments have been paid in full, so it would be a refund.
Yes.
And it does sound to me like there was an error in the office.
Oh, was there in the office, or if the first letter had the old people's names on it and got picked up by the mail change with somewhere else.
Right.
I would move to approve the abatement request.
Second,
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Next is
Thank you guys,
approval,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
approval of the minutes of August 1st, August 15th, and August 21st being a joint meeting with the village trustees. It's your pleasure.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second,
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
so move.
Second.
All those, oh, yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep, yeah.